Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to 115 Gaming, your home for all the tips and tools you need to excel at your games of Six Siege, the board game. And lately, as I've been playing the tournament and getting better at this game over the last couple of months, I've been looking back on some of our older videos, you know, the original videos, the basics of Six Siege, how to attack, how to defend. And it's kind of a shame because the basics of Six Siege video is the biggest video on our channel, it's the most watched by far, but I think there are some advice and some tips on there that are a little bit outdated. And there are some tips that I give that I either don't quite agree with or that I would like to add on to. Now, I don't want to delete that video. I don't want to make a new one. I don't want to, you know, remake it. And so what I would like to do is start a new series called just like quick tips or something so that I can, anytime I think of something gameplay wise or positioning wise, anything that I can give to you guys, I just like to make a nice quick little video, quick tips for Six Siege that I think are going to help you guys out a ton, because I've been learning a lot over this first 2 weeks of this tournament that we've been playing. A lot of cool little gameplay maneuvers and positionings that I would like to give to you. And so today I want to give you guys 3 quick tips for Six Siege, and the first is going to be about peeking. Now, in my original Basics of Six Siege video, I said this about positioning. The fact of the matter is, this is not a game where somebody is going to attack you and your character can survive a couple of die rolls before they go down. In Six Siege, the dice are made in such a way that pretty much if you get shot at, you are going to die. I mean, it's no question. Now, obviously, there are some times where somebody makes a really bad roll, but here's the thing, that's rarely going to happen. And when it does, they have a reroll token. So, when you're playing games of Six Siege, I want you to drill into your head. The moment you get shot at, you're probably going to die. As you can see, I was very pessimistic about the chances of operators surviving any rolls. I basically believed that if you ever get shot on, you're pretty much going to die, especially with the reroll token. It's pretty much guaranteed that if an operator is able to flank you in any way or is able to get a shot on you, that you're going to die. Now, the reason I thought this is because, quite frankly, Jack and I sucked at the game. All right, probably I wasn't in any position to be making that video several months ago, and I was just always in bad positions. And when you're in bad positions, obviously the opponent is going to kill you on one roll. So what can you do to improve your positions? Well, the first thing I want to point out, I want to talk about peeking. Now, peeking, I use the term peeking because that's what they use in the video game, right? In the video game, you can lean left and right, and you're always peeking around behind corners so that you can get a drop on somebody. And you can do the exact same thing in the board game, right? That's why they have these leaning standees, so that you can peek in the board game. Now, I did peek in old games. If you go back and watch your playthroughs, I did peek, but I found that in older games, leaning was sometimes very rare. And I don't think I quite realized how strong it was. I used to think that getting light cover or even heavy cover was not that big a deal, because if you get in bad positions, you're going to get killed easily behind heavy cover. Anyway, 3 damage is not enough when somebody's rolling 4 dice against you. And so I thought, well, you know, cover's not that big of a deal. I'll just walk around and, you know, shoot everybody. This is a bad idea, and it is a bad habit. A habit you should start forming is you should always be peeking constantly as attacker or as the defender. So let me give some examples, all right? So right here, let's say you're the attacker and you want to take a push on the garage, but you've got Tachanka here who is overwatching this garage area, right? Okay, so I think old Ethan in those original games would probably just try and like walk out and tank a roll by Tachanka. This is a bad idea. Don't do this, okay? All right, the habit you need to start getting into is you need to start always peeking, right? So if I peek and lean out this way first, then Tachanka, he can get an overwatch on me, but I'm going to have heavy cover. And because at range 1 to 3, I know that Tachanka has only 2 red dice. I know that no matter what, I'm going to survive this roll. Even if you roll 6 damage, which is the highest you can get on 2 red, I'm going to survive with only 3 wounds. And then I'll get to have a shot on him, and he is not going to go down. Right. Super basic way that you can improve your chances of surviving die rolls. Right now, old Ethan would have told you that you can't survive a single die roll, but right here, I would know that I've survived a die roll by peeking. Your operators have 5 movement, but I really want you to be thinking that your operator has 3 to 4 movement. 3 if you need to peek 2 times in a turn. 4 if you need to just lean once for, you know, your final or for your first movement, right? So even though you have 5 movement, try and be thinking about, okay, how can I get somewhere within 4 or 3 spaces and lean to get in a better position, all right? But conversely, when talking about peeking, you should be peeking in advance, All right, and this is especially important. So for instance, in this scenario, right, you've got Sledge coming into this room. But as the defense player, this is something you'd see me do all the time when I was a defending player, and this is why I complained about defense a couple months ago. Really, the reason I have a hard time with defense is because I sucked at positioning in advance, right? So what I mean by this, so maybe I'd put my Tachanka in a position like this, and I would naively think that an Overwatch by itself is enough to cover an entire area. But that's not true. You can Overwatch all you want, but if somebody is going to take damage from you and they're going to have it behind heavy cover, they're going to soak up that Overwatch damage and then just shoot you back, and you're going to die in one shot, right? So in this scenario, Tachanka is rolling 2 red dice on this Sledge. This Sledge peaks. Sledge is at most only can take 3 damage, but he's probably going to take less, and then he's going to shoot at me, and I have no cover, right? And at range 1 to 3, as we all know, Sledge he's a beefy boy. Okay. So what could I have done in this position? Should I just complain that the defense is too weak? Well, no. Like, if I know that I'm overwatching these 3 areas, what I should do is already have my guy leaning in heavy cover. All right? Now, it seems obvious, but it's pretty easy to miss this when you're the defense, right? You can get tunnel vision and not really think about the fact that somebody is going to shoot you and you're not going to get any cover. So when you're positioning as a defense, or even as attack, if you're trying to cover, you know, a bomb defusal or whatever, be preemptively leaning so that you can get heavy cover from any potential shots, right? I mean, that just makes sense. But it's really easy to miss. But I really want you to start thinking that whenever you're moving, a lean should be baked into your movement. All right? Always be thinking, when you sit your square, you sit your mini in a square, is there a way I can lean to get better cover from any possible angle? All right, and that's what I mean by peeking or preemptive peeking. And if you go look at our old games, you'll notice that I do not do this a ton, but you'll notice that in the recent tournament games, everyone is peeking every turn. And you'll also notice that, unlike what I said on my basic sub video, people are surviving 2 to 3 shots in a game before they go down, all because of heavy cover. Quick tip number 2. This is going to be about disputing entryway tokens, and this is a strategy that I just kind of discovered on my first tournament game against the Mr. Shady Slim. You should go back and watch those games. What's interesting is that he opened my eyes to something that I didn't realize before, and that was that you should dispute entryway tokens a lot. Oftentimes you can think when an operator is upstairs that they are invulnerable and you can't get to them until they get downstairs. This is not true. Something that I noticed is that Shady Slim would always run an operator upstairs, and I'm going to use Sledge because Sledge is a great example of this. Thermite's a pretty good one as well, but I'm going to use Sledge. If you have an operator that rolls 3 or 4 dice uncovered, they have a great chance at killing someone by disputing an entryway token, or by at least heavily damaging them so they only have 2 to 1 health remaining, right? So Shady Slim was constantly disputing Overwatch tokens, and he was actually in one of the games able to get a kill, I think it was on Pulse, because Pulse is a lightweight. He's only got 4 health, and he's able to use Sledge, who rolls 4 dice at short range, right? None of these are cover dice.
I guess I'll activate Sledge. Sledge will go ahead and move 1
upstairs. Okay.
And he's going to go ahead and contest the Overwatch at Pulse.
Okay. Okay, so that's 5. Yeah, he is dead. We do a little roll here. All right, so look at this. You may be thinking, well, there's no point in contesting an Overwatch space because they're going to get heavy cover. All right, look at this. This is heavy cover. Take that out. What have you got right here? A dead Pulse. All right. If you can get a lightweight or sometimes even a 5 health to contest an Overwatch token with you, and you're using somebody who rolls 3 to 4 dice, you have a good chance of killing them outright from the upstairs. This is a great strategy. So something that I have started doing, and I think I started using this in my game against Bomber, is that I kind of designated Sledge as an entryway shooter. And I was just trying to use him to contest Overwatch tokens as much as possible to preemptively damage his operators. Now, he ended up healing them with Doc anyway, but it was a really viable strategy. I call it Sledge specifically because he rolls the most dice, and you have a really good shot about killing someone, right? But once people figure out that you can kill someone, either 1, you get to shoot at them, and they're probably going to die, or 2, they're going to get too scared of you, and they're going to give up the entryway token, and now you can rotate down that entryway hole, right? So that's quick tip number 2. Try and find operators that roll 3 to 4 dice and designate them as entryway shooters. and you can clear out those spots pretty well. So those are the 2 quick tips: peeking and watching entryway spaces. And then finally, I want to talk about this very minor quick tip that I didn't call out in the basics of video, but obviously it's really important and it messes me up so many times in any of my games. For instance, in this scenario right here in my game against Bomber with Fuse and I believe it was Mute. I'm gonna drop down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's his roll at 6? Oh, perfect. And then he's gonna shoot Mute. At 6 range, no cover. So that's 2 orange and 2 red.
That's heavy cover.
Heavy cover? Oh, yeah, because you're leaning. I can just move him right here. And I think I can... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, I'll shoot Mute. Right from right there. 1, 2, 3. Oh, snap. That does get him closer, unfortunately. Oh well, we'll run with it. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. So all that to say, this is a very quick, easy tip. This is really easy to miss while you're playing on Tabletop Simulator because, you know, obviously the ranges are down here, but once you start playing on the board, you zoom in and you're not looking at your operator profiles anymore, and you can get into bad shooting positions and shooting ranges without thinking about it. But always be double checking your character's ranges. And if you have the ability to choose which range you shoot them at, try and get them in their optimal range, right? So for instance, obviously Thermite is best at medium range. Sledge is best at close range. Flores is best at medium range, right? Ash is best at medium to close range, right? You want to try and double check these areas so that you can always be getting the most dice and the most damage on an operator. Seemingly simple, but very easy to miss when you're playing. All right, so those are my quick tips for you guys today. I hope this is a nice, short, little bite-sized video for you. Remember, the three tips: always be peeking if you can get heavy cover, right? Because then you can survive 2 to 3 die rolls. Always be peeking. Secondly, designate characters who dispute entryway Overwatch tokens to either get early picks or heavy damage. And then finally, constantly be double-checking your character's ranges so that you're always getting optimal damage. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you guys out. I know these are minor tips and they seem obvious, but they're really easy to miss while you're playing. And if you start to get in the habit of doing these things all the time, you'll notice that your games are going to be improved a ton. All right, guys, that's it for the video today. So until next week, see ya.